Miss Malaysia Indian Global is not just a pageant, it's a social development program by Malaysian Indian women for Malaysian Indian women. Now, they are going to celebrate their 20th anniversary very soon and are open for auditions right now. So, we decided to catch up with the founder of Miss Malaysia Indian Global, Mrs. Rani. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having us here today.
Congratulations on 20 years. That's an incredible accomplishment. But I want to take you back to where it all started. You come from a background of journalism and being in the media. Why did you see there was a need for you to acquire the license for MMIG and start this pageant?
Why did I start the pageant? I think there was a lot of reasons why I started it, but one of the core things is the fact that I had a daughter. My daughter was a 1-year-old at that point of time, and I come from a very conservative Indian family. A lot of what I'd done until that point and things that I've achieved for myself had come through a lot of hard work and a lot of self-determination. The typical Malaysian Indian family requires the children to be doctors, lawyers, and engineers. That's every parent's dream and rightful dream, actually. It's retrospect. I chose to be a journalist. I enjoyed writing, and I chose a career that was totally not a bit radical at that point of time, especially for a girl from a conservative household. So it was during that time I was exposed to a lot of things involving the Indian community. I worked with the Star for a while, and then I moved on to TV and finally finished my days in the online media. And now I do a lot of freelance work on my own. In the course of this time that I was exposed in journalism, I understood a lot of the issues that was running in the Indian community. And that was one of the reasons. It was a collection of reasons that came together, and I thought the best and the fastest way to empower the Indian girl was to do a pageant. Women, generally girls, vanity. We're all about vanity. So vanity was the best route to take. I was very optimistic that the community would rally around us and give us the kind of support. So that didn't quite happen in terms of support, because what I hadn't accounted for was the fact that we were very conservative community. So the whole journey for us was to first teach ourselves self-respect. That was very important. We needed to find our own sense of purpose before we could share it with the rest of the world. And that's how we started. We started a very small team.
Now, it's been 20 years, and one thing that I believe is very unique about this pageant and makes it unlike any other pageants in the world is the amount of development and community program that goes along with the pageant. So you have the Gift Her Life Fund that has small education grants in it, and also you have a community and environment awareness camp and a personal empowerment program. Why did you feel that there was a need for these little programs to be under the wing of the pageant when usually pageants are all about the way you look and the physical aspect of the contestant?
Okay. Actually, I think it's just unfortunate that a lot of the women in general, we mold ourselves to male expectations. It doesn't mean we're happy with it the way we are. So for me, I decided very early that one of the things that we needed to do was to make the Indian girl resilient. We're smart, intelligent people. Unfortunately, our upbringing in the past, this is all past, in the past, our upbringing sort of is overly protective, so we're not allowed to bloom fully. We only bloom halfway, and then we get into a family life, and then it's all about the children. So we don't allow ourselves to bloom. I think what's very, very important is that we need to bloom first before we can bring out the best in whatever else we're doing. So that's something that dynamics was something that was important to us. So personal empowerment, empowering the girl was something I wanted to do. Every girl who comes through our corridor is basically somebody's daughter. And I view it that way, and I've always maintained that was the most important part that every one of us had to remember. And how would I want my daughter to be? I would want to empower my daughter. older. She will go through all the teething problems of life.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Okay, but we want to know that the people who are she meets in the process of time will help to aid her own growth. So with that perspective, I felt that we needed to do this for the girls, and we continue to empower them every little bit of it. We are so fluid. The pageant is actually so fluid that over the years we have evolved and morphed to meet the needs and challenges of the evolving girl.
Yeah.
Very, very important to us was the fact that we were Malaysian Indians.
Yeah.
We were not Indians from India.
Yes.
Okay. So if we are what we eat, then we are a mixture of nasi lemak, thosai, and chichong fan.
Yeah.
The general breakfast that everybody has. You know?
Yeah.
So by virtue of that, we are very different. We are wired differently from birth. And that's something that I felt was very important, and that is actually the thrust of our program.
Yes, exactly. I think it's brilliant
So-
that you have a almost like a support group or a network of Malaysian Indian women, because the organizers, the people who run behind the scene, are sometimes alumni of the program.
Yes.
And they just come back and they they contribute their time, their effort, their work. Why do you hope that there are more networks like this where Malaysian Indian women just come back and support more women? And why do you think there's a necessity for it?
I think I would like to see more organizations like this. We don't have an issue about programs like this popping up, but I'd like there to be more responsibility. You know, I think we live in a world which is unfortunately more structured than it is responsible. We don't take responsibility over anything that we do. Everything we do is always it's not committing. You know, in a relationship, you're only prepared to go that far. You're not prepared to go the whole hog, for instance. But if you want to see change, then you need to commit to absolute change within yourself. You can't afford conditional changes within you. So likewise, when it involves going out there and reaching out to others, you need to throw yourself in completely. When we ran the pageant, you know, basically from day one, it was everything or nothing. And when I put my foot in, I literally sunk in that whole thing. And we do a lot of personal mentoring. There's a lot of real stories that come out, stories that your parents won't tell you. When you get married, no one tells you what the idiosyncrasies of married life. You know, it's always the big picture. But the big picture no longer matters anymore. It's the small things that keep or break a relationship. You know, and these are things that we talk about. We talk about simple things like financial management, for instance. How do you teach money? We don't teach. It's one thing telling the child you need to save money. It's another thing breaking it all down and telling them, listen, this is how the law of life works, the economics of life works. And these are simple things that we need to teach our kids early. It's not just about saving anymore. It's about multiplying your savings, you know, and how do you do that? So at some point, you need to teach that to your children.
Yeah.
But when do you do that?
Yeah.
In Indian families, we don't do that. We are more of give. We're less about teaching them those kind of dynamics. Then self-respect, dignity. You need to liberate your children a little bit earlier, which means you need to share responsibility a little bit earlier with them. So when it means sharing responsibility, you must be able to, if the child says, I don't like something, then you must respect that the child doesn't like it. I remember when my son was, I think 5 or 6 years old, he said he didn't like this. I said, fine, if you don't like it, you don't like it. And then he came back and he wanted the same pair of clothes, right? I said, no, you can't have it because you didn't like the color at that point of time. So something as simple as that, you know, because children now especially have likes and dislikes. And we're 20 years, you know, which means that we're actually seeing girls now who were born in the year 2000.
Yeah.
A lot of this year's entries, a lot of them are girls who were born post 2000. I find it a bit odd looking at the ICs which start with 000, you know.
Yeah.
But again, and these are all girls who have gone through the process of parents who are in their 40s maybe, in their 40s. So when you look at things like this, coming back to what it is that we'd like to have more people doing this, but you need to take responsible actions towards things that you do. If you want to mentor, you need to commit to mentoring. We have a lot of mentors everywhere. Mentoring is now a business. You know, mentoring is not a business. That's one of the reasons why I refuse to commercialize our program into a business entity. Because to do that, is to lose the soul of the work that we want to do. And for us, from the beginning, in the year 2000, we started as a community development program. We wanted to transform the community. You need to transform the community, you need to work on the girls.
Yeah.
Because they are the ones who go on to give you sons.
Yeah. So now it's been 20 years and it's a huge success. This year you have many more things, new and exciting plans for MMIG. Can you share what are the new things that's going to be happening?
Like I said earlier, we're very fluid. So we've always meandered like the river. Okay, so we've adapted and we've kept it. It's never been structured. So every year is a new thing for us, if you look at that. But we're 20 years old now, and I think I like to think of the pageant as a daughter. And I think she's old enough to go out now and make new friends and be more involved. We've been fairly conservative about our approach to branding ourselves, to in inverted commas, dating, inverted commas.
Yeah.
So now this year we're a little bit more open. We've come to Varanam.
Yeah.
That's because we've become open, and we're hoping Varanam will help us expand our social media presence in the digital world, for instance. And we've got other similar partners we're working with. We have a lot of interest among the non-Indian community, partners who are very happy. They say that we've got a very high level of integrity. So they are happy to work with us. They like the fact that there's a lot of respect, mutual respect in the system that works with us. They like the fact that girls keep coming back and they form the working committee of the new pageant. So we have partners who like this, suppliers who like this, and people who work with us have worked with us for 10 years. And we're socially inclusive in that sense. So our community and environment program, for instance, is a socially inclusive program. It involves scientists who are non-Indians, scientists who are non-Indians. So there's that whole exchange of knowledge and ideas is what makes us who we are now. So I think that's very, very important. Of late, we've seen a very high number of girls who have come from traditional families from across the country who've taken part. We've had a queen from Sarawak. We have entries from Sabah and Sarawak coming in, aspiring for something new. So I think we have managed in the last 20 years to cover the entire spectrum of the Indian community, from from the civil servant right down to the lady who sells flowers in the temple. Her daughter. And that's very exciting for us that we've reached so far, and nobody knows us. When someone tells me, "Oh, we've never heard of you," I say, "We're the typical Indian mother." She does everything. She's self-sacrificing. She does everything, and no one actually knows us. They will know the daughters. They will know the sons, but they won't know the person who produced it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So speaking of exciting times, we have one last audition that's coming up very soon. Can you just share the details about the audition?
I tell the girls every year, please don't put off. We are such a procrastinating society. MMI Global is only once a year. And it's only once a year you can come on board and meet Mrs. Mohana, Mrs. Sandhya, myself. And if you've heard about us, this is the time to come and see us. And because we are a personal empowerment pageant, you don't see the catwalk at all until the finals. It's all about conversations. It's all about opening your minds and getting into life. I tell the older girls, this is the time to romance yourself without the man in the center. Okay, this is the time to come in and to see sides of you you've never seen, to challenge parts of you that you've never challenged before. So to all the girls out there who are interested or even who've never thought that it was possible for them, this is the time to come and take part in the Miss Malaysia Indian pageant. Okay, there's something absolutely magical about this platform. I can't explain it, and I've always said it's an experience. And I've always said that our tagline is faith, trust, and pixie dust. Okay, that's the Peter Pan philosophy. You should never lose your identity, no matter what you do. Okay, faith in yourself, trust in what you're going to do, and leave the rest to divine intervention. And that's been our philosophy for 20 years. Faith, trust, and pixie dust. That's where we stand.
And young women out there who are ready to start a brand new experience or a journey with MMIG, definitely head over to the link that we'll include in this video. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the time.
And good luck for the pageant.
Thank you.